Hello, Renee Flamond here. So, coming off that last video started to make me think about this one. And when you aren't happy with the narcissist, but you're not leaving the narcissist, and you know both of those things are true, that can really be a really hopeless place to exist. You're hanging in there. You're wanting the 5% guy to show up. You're hoping that they change. You're not feeling like going out there into the world. Could be financial reasons, kids, whatever your reasons, but you know you're miserable and you know that you aren't leaving. You've arrived at that decision and you're final with it. I'm going to get into a few things about that in 1 minute. But I'm going to be very careful because I never tell anybody to leave. It's a very, very personal choice. And only you can be responsible for that choice. And you shouldn't burden anyone else with it. I don't mean you can't seek advice, but the decision is yours. But whether or not you leave, I still encourage you to stay positive-minded in whatever path you're choosing. I'll get to what I want to tell you in 1 second. But if you aren't leaving, take steps secretly, as though you were. Save money. This is the time to up your game with a job, maybe, if you're able, if you can, so you can take care of yourself in the event that things go awry and you do end up having to leave or deciding you want to leave. Take a class. Try to maintain or get back to friendships and family. You can't stay isolated in this kind of environment. Something's in my eye. You can't stay isolated in this kind of environment. But to get back to what I said, you're not happy, but you're not leaving. Right? The first time someone said this to me was 100 years ago. And I was stunned into silence almost. Because I really loved having it said to me. Because we complain, we solicit advice, we ignore good advice, we don't come up with a solution ourselves, and we continue to be unhappy, and then we continue to complain, and it's a cycle. So somebody finally one time looked at me and said, so you're not happy, but you're not leaving, in one of the relationships I was in. So I wonder why. Because is it worth you being unhappy? And let me just tell you what I mean. And again, I'm not telling anyone to leave. But I know people that stay together for the kids. That's their whole thing. They're staying together for the kids. They, as people, are miserable. Now, I don't think, personally, well, I guess, of course, it's personally if I'm doing the not thinking. That was redundant. But I don't think miserable parents who are stepping out on each other is the answer for the kids. The narcissist steps out on you the entire time they're with you, right? They might have periods of being good or whatever. I'm telling you, something's right across my eye. But that's what they do. That is what they do. They step out. Chances are, I just had a thought, the kids have caught on. Is that good for them? You say you're staying together for the kids. Is that good for them to have this as an example of marriage to emulate? That they're watching their father or mother, whoever's the narcissist, do this? And again, I can't say it enough. I'm not telling anyone to go or stay. But we really go through a lot with the narcissist, and we stay even though we're unhappy. It's almost like we don't want to admit that deep down inside we are quite unhappy. And we go through periods of convincing ourselves we're happy. We hide the truth from ourselves. We sell our situation to ourselves. Well, it's been 20 years. Where am I going to go now? Well, we have people 20, even 40 years spent with a narcissist that are in the audience of this channel. I bet if they could get some time back, they would take it. They would take it. So here you sit at, whatever marker of years. Let's say you're at 5 years. And I guess the question is, do you want to be having the same concerns and complaints in 10 years, 30 years, 50 years? Because you will be having the same concerns and complaints in the future, be it 10 years, 30 years, or 50 years. We've talked so many times about how the narcissist doesn't change. It isn't going to get better. He isn't going to be learning and improving. He may behave for a while to allow you to think that he's improving and no longer misbehaving. The narcissist is certainly capable to behave for a while so that you think that they've improved. But kind of like the last video, if they're not into you and the truth is about their behavior is that they are behaving as somebody not into you, then that is the truth of the situation. If they're still doing all the stepping out and all of that on you, which narcissists don't change. Many of them die alone. Still trying to run a game on somebody. Still trying to find their perfect place. Because they're searching forever because they're so unhappy. If you are somebody who feels that hopelessness of, I'm really just unhappy, but I don't see a way out, the only thing that I could probably come up with to tell you is there is nothing that's hopeless. Everything has a possibility of a different outcome than you think that you're stuck in. This is 2022 in America. Well, some of you aren't in America, but I mean, it's 2022. You can pretty much make strides for yourself, get the help that you need, get guidance that you need. And many of you might say, no, you don't understand my situation. I have nowhere to go. Well, then I would stick with the plan of secretly planning something. It doesn't mean you have to remain miserable in your life and at the beck and call of this narcissist person. Start spending time with your family, friends. Start thinking about ways out. If one day you think that you just will crack and you can't take anymore, you should have choices. Start saving the money. But I'm appealing also to your sense of well-being, because I think that year in and year out of this kind of emotional abuse can certainly take a toll on people that is not going to be good. We only come through one time. We only come through one time. And a lot of people stay because they think, I won't meet anybody else. Okay, so you could be by yourself. I'm probably one of the happiest people I know, and I'm by myself by choice right now. That this is what I want. Do you know what I mean? But the possibilities are endless. It doesn't mean that you have to be miserable because you're by yourself. You might be thrilled without having that person around you anymore, without having your home disrupted anymore, without having your peace and quiet challenged by a fight anymore, without having fill in the blanks. But I know the hopelessness of that when you are just not happy, but you are not leaving. You have to look inside yourself and ask yourself, what is happening with your life that you're remaining? And what really bad would be if you left? You have your own list. And like I said, yours might be serious. You might be like, Renee, you don't understand. Well, if you're that unhappy and you just can't break free right away, again, like I said, make plans for yourself. Try to look out for you. And try to, saving money, I think, is a big one. Every time you can, put a little bit of something away. Start trying to make phone calls, make moves in life, get a job lined up, I don't know. For those of you that are really entangled and, or talk to your narcissist and say, don't you think it's about time I don't know if you approach someone like that and you're a partner of theirs for years and years and years and they know they're miserable too, are they really going to deny it and say, "Ooh, no, I'm so happy. I want to stay in this"? I don't like to see people staying together when I know they're miserable. And I know too many couples that do it. And I feel like, okay, do they have a +1 on their arm? Yep. Are they known as so-and-so and so-and-so? Yep. But are they happy? Now, I know many couples that are very happy. I aspire to that. But I have no interest in joining forces with someone that will make me miserable at 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We have our lives to live whether or not we're with that narcissist. And if you have any way to help yourself out of a situation that is considered abusive, then I suggest you give it more thought than you may have. That's all I will say. Again, I do not encourage, I don't tell people what to do. It's a very personal choice. But on the other side is so much light that you maybe not even have felt in so long. You wouldn't know what to do to bask in all of this time that you have, to do whatever you want, all of this quiet that you have, to just, like, listen to my house right now. This is what my life sounds like all the time. Except I usually have the doors open because I like the outside ambient noise, but it is like 47 degrees out there today, so no. But think of how you could live a very peaceful, happy, quiet, simple, fabulous little life and not have to deal with the daily horrors that have a tendency to come up with when it comes to having a relationship with a narcissist. They won't change. And I mentioned 5% guy earlier, and you guys who watch me know, but if you don't, that's the guy I call who was the good person. I think he's 5% at most of the narcissist. The 95% of them is the one with the mask that's off that we detest. So you're waiting around and you're hoping to see that 5% guy. They got you chasing that ideal that he showed you in the beginning or she showed you in the beginning. We've talked a lot about that. That was during love bombing. That period was manufactured. So I want you to remember that as well. So you're waiting and hoping and praying and sticking around wanting to see something. Do you want him to manufacture it again? Do you want him to act like that again? You can ask him to do that and he will. It was a put on. It doesn't mean their genuine feelings are of someone that is wanting to be there. If they come at you like that, because that's what they do, they drag you through the mud and then they love bombing you, and then they drag you through the mud and then they love bomb you. If they're doing that, pay attention during the love bombing. They want something. They want your mood better. Maybe people are coming over. Maybe they're going away that weekend and they want you to answer them that it's fine. Maybe there's always a reason. So they're manipulating you into thinking that this 5% guy loves you and I'm here for you and whatever. That's not real. Do you know what I mean? So if you're not happy and not leaving, I will just never forget that sentence. And it was very poignant to me. So I wanted to say it to you so that you can hear it. Yeah, it was probably, God, it was a long time ago. But I remember the friend and I remember the relationship. And I always had something to say and I was complaining. Finally she said, so you're not happy, but you're not leaving. And I went, oh, wow. It really struck me. And it was shortly thereafter that I left that relationship too, because that line helped me. It helped me kind of snap into it because I was complaining as if I thought a solution was going to come up that I could bring home and make me happy at that time, whatever that relationship was. But when you're complaining and you're hoping for a solution, but you're not coming up with it, you know you're always going to be unhappy. But it took this person to say that to me. So you're not happy, but you're not leaving. Because I was never coming up with anything that was going to make me happy, that was going to make me leave, that was going to solve the problem. So either do things to try to make yourself happy if you can't leave, or start thinking about that other part of the sentence, you're not leaving, and open your mind. Maybe it's something that you could handle. I bet you could handle more than you think. And again, not perpetuating divorce up here. I'm not telling people to leave people and break up families. But I am saying if you are unhappy, that is not a way to go through life for anybody. It's not fair. It's not fair. I mean, the narcissist is never truly happy. They don't have genuine feelings like that. But they're out there gallivanting and doing this, that, and the other, and you're home and you're miserable. So they're pretending and playing happy, but you get to be what? Miserable at home? That's not very fair, and that's not you living your best life for you. And I bet that's not the best for your children. My daughter has a very happy mother, and that's made for a remarkable child. And she has, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not miserably stuck in a relationship with a narcissist. My husband wasn't a narcissist, but I'm thinking if you're in a marriage and you're stuck with well, I think he's narcissistic, but not in this disordered way. A lot of people are, right? They think of themselves. But I feel like if you're in a relationship like that with a narcissist and they're mistreating you in all of the ways that we know, I think of my daughter, I think she would have seen that. Like, because I know some of you are on your 20 years and your 40 years, so you have adult children. I mean, they're seeing it. They're seeing what's going on. So you remaining, they see that you're unhappy. They're catching on to the behavior. It's just some things to look at. I just wanted to bring it up.